students, welcome to today's chemistry class. So we are in the chapter states of matter and we are studying about the different physical laws for the gaseous state, right? So we have been studying from the first class, that is the Boyle's law, where you study the relationship between the volume as well as pressure, and it says that the volume is directly or inversely proportional to the pressure, right? So here the first law says that the volume of a gas is inversely proportional to pressure. So this was given by Boyle's law. And then we had Charles' law, which states that volume is directly proportional to the temperature, right? So this was the second law which you have studied, and the third one which gives you the pressure as well as temperature relationship, that is Gay-Lussac's law, which says that pressure is directly proportional to the temperature. And the last law which you are going to study today is the Avogadro law. So the various expressions which you come across in all of these laws are very important in order to solve the problems, and also the statements which used to be remembered are very important. Okay. So today in today's class, let us study the last law, that's the Avogadro law, which gives you the volume as well as the amount of gas relationship. The volume of the gas as well as the amount of gas. Now what do you mean by amount of gas? That means number of molecules, right? That makes up the mass. So number of molecules present in one mole of a gas or some amount of gas. That relationship is given by Avogadro law. Now as you all know, his name you have already heard in your primary classes about the Avogadro number, which gives you that value of constant, which is 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 molecules or ions, right? So all these you've studied before itself. Let us just try understand and apply it to gaseous state and study what is the law says. Now here in around 1811, the scientist named Emilio Avogadro, he gives a relationship between, what did I say? It is between volume as well as the amount of gas. Now he says that if you keep, now you have volume as well as number of molecules here, that means the mass. So these both are varying, then what has to be kept constant? Obviously it has to be temperature as well as pressure to be kept constant, right? So at a fixed temperature as well as pressure, what happens here? The volume, whatever volume of gas you take, it is equal to the number of molecules of gas, okay? Or the amount of gas what you take, maybe it is 1 mole of gas, it is equal to that particular volume. It is always proportional. Now suppose you take 1 mole of gas, okay? That is equal to 1 volume. Got it? So they both are equal. Whatever the amount or the number of molecules you take for a gas, imagine you have so many molecules of a gas, that is equal to its own volume. That is what the law says. Very, very easy to understand. Okay. So what do we say? How does the law state? That is at fixed temperature or at constant temperature and pressure. Okay. And pressure. What happens to the volume? Volume is directly proportional. Volume of a gas is directly proportional to the amount of gas, taken. Now this has to be a fixed number, it cannot vary, the mass cannot vary. For a fixed mass of gas, the volume will vary directly proportional to each other. So this is what the law says. At fixed temperature and pressure, the volume of the gas is directly proportional to the amount of gas taken or the number of molecules taken. So this is what the law says. Now how can you give it as an expression? Okay, how can you do it? So here we say volume is directly proportional to what? It is directly proportional to the amount of the gas. That means number of molecules of gas. So you write it as N. V is directly proportional to N. Now what you have to do? If you have to remove the proportionality symbol, what you have to do? You have to put a constant. the constant of proportionality should be introduced. So here we say this becomes equal to, now this is the fourth law, right? We have already put the proportionality constant starting from Boyle's law, which is K1, then Charles law K2, and Gay-Lussac's K3, and now comes the fourth one, so you denote it as K4 into N. So here, in order to remove the proportionality, so you introduce a constant, that is constant of proportionality, which is K4, and then you have into N. So this becomes the Avogadro law. So V is equal to K4 into N, where N is what? It is the number of molecules of a gas. Okay. So this is what the law says. Very easy to be understood. Volume is equal to amount of gas. Now, you should also note that 1 mole of a gas, how many molecules does it contain? As I said, it contains how many molecules? 1 mole of a gas. It contains, what's the constant value? It is 6.023 into 10 to the power 23 molecules. 23 molecules. So this is what we say, what we call it as the Avogadro constant. But do you think that you know the exact value of volume here? We know 1 mole of gas contains so many molecules. Yes, we know the amount, but we don't know what's the value of volume here. We say it is equal to the volume, but what is it? Volume value. We know standard temperature, what is it? 0 degrees Celsius, which is equal to 273.15 Kelvin. And then you have pressure, which is 1 bar. Okay, we know the standard. And then you know what is the number of moles here, right? Or number of molecules we know. But we don't know what is the value of volume here. So what did these scientists do? They started experimenting and the results were found for the volume of the gas. Okay. When can it be done? Only when you keep a standard temperature and pressure. So if you take it as a standard, then easily you can find out the volume of gas. So they found that at STP. Now what do you mean by STP? It is standard temperature and pressure. Okay. So when you keep the standard temperature and pressure, standard temperature and pressure means that temperature is 0 degrees Celsius, which means it is 273.15 Kelvin, or pressure to be kept as how much? 1 bar. Okay, that is equal to 10 to the power 5 Pascal. This value, or you can write 1 bar. So when you keep these as standards, what was the volume of the gas obtained? That was an experimentally determined value. So any gas, if you take 1 mole of that particular gas at standard pressure and temperature, it gives you 22.7 liter per mole volume. So this is the volume of any gas what you take at standard temperature and pressure. Okay, so this is how we take the volume as a standard value. Got it? So any of the gas, let me take oxygen gas or any of the gas, when you take it as standard temperature and pressure, you get the value of 22.7 liter per mole. So this unit has to be noted. Liter per mole. I've already told this in the previous class, one of the classes wherein we had to calculate the volume there. So I said the volume of the oxygen gas at STP would release how much volume? That is 22.7 liter. So it is said to be a constant for all of the gases when you take it at standard temperature and pressure. Now this particular value was used decades ago, okay, but right now what they use is the standard ambient temperature and pressure, SATP, standard ambient temperature pressure. This is just for your information. So standard ambient temperature pressure in the sense, here ambient in the sense, it is related to the surrounding. So what's the temperature of the surrounding? That is around 25 degrees Celsius. So they take the standard value of temperature as 25 degrees Celsius. Okay. So based on this, see here you have 0 degree. That's the standard temperature and pressure. But here ambient in the sense it is related to surrounding, and that's why they take it as 25 degrees Celsius. Pressure will be 1 bar itself. So that will have a volume as 22.4. This is 22.7. Slightly varies. Okay, 22.4 liter per mole. Okay, so this is the value we usually take it sometimes. Okay, so these are the standard volume values which are taken at standard temperature and pressure. So as I said, that volume of the gas is directly proportional to the number of molecules of a gas. Now all the gases, okay, containing same substance will always have same volume at standard temperature and pressure. That is what the law says. Now this particular law, when we apply it to 1 mole of a gas, we call it as molar volume too. We can also call it as molar volume because we apply it to one particular mole of a gas, right? So as I said, the volume value will be around 22.7 liter per mole. Now we can also calculate the number of moles of a gas by a formula, that is number of moles of a gas, okay, that can be calculated. Number of moles in the sense that is N is equal to M, small letter m, divided by capital letter M. So this is how you can calculate the number of moles present in a gas, which means that this M is nothing but the mass of the gas whatever you take, and capital M is the molar mass. For 1 mole, how much is the mass? That is what is called the molar mass. Okay, so this is how you calculate the number of moles of a gas. Let us take it as equation 1. Done. Now what do we do is, we already know that the law, that the Avogadro law is given as V is equal to K4 into N. Correct? So let me take this equation in order to refer to the number of moles of a gas. So let me take this as equation 2. Okay? So this is nothing but your Avogadro law. Done. Now what do we do is, when you look at this equation, you see that this N is present over here. That means number of moles of a gas. So you can also substitute this value as M by M, which is mass by molar mass, right? So we can substitute it over here too. So we write it as K4. Now what do I do? I replace M by M. So M divided by capital M, mass by molar mass. And what you have to the left hand side, you have volume is equal to K4 into M by M. Right. Now take it as equation 3. Done. Now you see that if you just rearrange this molar mass, that is capital M, to the other side, and if you get the volume to this side, let me just rearrange, okay, rearranging. Let me take molar mass to the other side. M is equal to K4 into M by V. Now volume is brought this side, right? Now you must have seen this expression somewhere, that mass by volume is nothing but density, right? So here, instead of writing this M by M, we can also write it as mass by volume, which is nothing but density. So you substitute it over here. So M is equal to K4 into D. That is what you get the expression as, last expression, right? So here, by this, okay, by doing this rearrangement of the equations or the expressions, you see that molar mass is equal to the density of the gas. So molar mass need not be equal to the volume itself. It can be directly proportional to the density of the gas too. What is the density of a particular gas? That can be equal to your molar mass. So molar mass is directly proportional to the density of the gas. So this is what you conclude from the above expression. So next we will study about the ideal gas. Okay. Now what do you mean by this ideal gas? As you all know, you have gases like oxygen, nitrogen, right, hydrogen, all of these. These are said to be the real gases. And you have also studied the different laws based on these gaseous state, right? So in these laws, we have studied that all of these laws does not apply for the real gases. which means that there are some conditions to be specified, like it has to apply at lower pressure itself or higher temperature. So based on that, there are various conditions which cannot be satisfied by the real gases. Okay. Now, in order to study the behavior of the real gases, you have to take something as standard, right? You should know how the ideal gas would behave or an imaginary gas would behave at the standard conditions, and then varying from that, you can actually study the properties of real gas, right? So something has to be taken as standard, and at the standard temperature and pressure conditions it has to be studied, the properties has to be studied. So deviating from the behavior of an ideal gas, you can actually study the behavior of real gases. So this is the main idea about studying the behavior of ideal gases. Now what do you mean by this ideal gas? Ideal gas is the one which can obey all of the laws. Which are the laws did we study? Which are the physical laws did we study? Starting from Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac's law and the Avogadro law. All these 4 laws, if a gas can obey, then that gas is supposed to be called as an ideal gas. Now as I said, this ideal gas is just not in real, right? We don't call it as a real gas. It is an imaginary gas, or this theory is said to be hypothetical. It does not exist in reality. Okay, so that is why we call them as ideal gas. So what is an ideal gas? A gas which can obey all of the laws. Which laws? Boyle's law, Charles' law, Gay-Lussac and Avogadro law is said to be the ideal gas. But ideal gas, how does it actually appear? Okay, on what basis do we apply these laws? Firstly, an ideal gas will have no intermolecular forces of attraction. Remember that they have uniform forces of attraction, or the intermolecular forces of attraction is said to be negligible in an ideal gas. Okay, real gas, now suppose oxygen gas if you take, they will have some intermolecular forces of attraction, but if you compare it to an ideal gas, there is negligible intermolecular forces of attraction. It is said to be very less, or sometimes there is no intermolecular forces of attraction too. Okay, so this is what is a basic idea about ideal gas, a gas which can obey all of the laws. Now we will study an equation based on this ideal gas theory, which is also called the ideal gas equation. Okay, now ideal gas equation is nothing but combination of the laws, okay, and deriving of an expression wherein you can study the different parameters of the gas, okay, or the properties of the gas can be studied by this particular expression. Now let us try deriving it. Now as I said, this is a combined form of the laws which you have studied. So Charles' law, starting from Boyle's law says that, what does Boyle's law say? That volume is inversely proportional to pressure, right? So this is the first equation which we have studied. Then we have Charles' law, which says that volume is directly proportional to temperature, right? And the Avogadro law, which states that volume is directly proportional to the amount of gas. Now you must be thinking, why have I not taken the Gay-Lussac's law, right? Now here you see that Gay-Lussac's law actually represents the pressure as well as temperature relationship, right? But here, as you can see, all of these three agree with the volume relationship, but Gay-Lussac's agree with pressure and temperature, right? So there is nothing related to volume over there. So mainly, ideal gas behavior depends on the volume of the gas stream. Remember that. All of the volume, that is ideal gas behavior, it depends on the volume of gas, and that's why we do not consider the Gay-Lussac's law in order to define an ideal gas. As I said, it obeys the laws, but the study is based on the volume of the gas, and that's why we define an ideal gas as a gas which can obey, which are the ones? That is Boyle's law, Charles' law and the Avogadro law. So based on what? Based on the volume relationship. And that's why we do not consider Gay-Lussac's law. Remember this? So whenever you define, you write it as the gas which obeys Boyle's law, Charles' law and the Avogadro law is called the ideal gas. Okay? Very clear now? So now based on the volume relationship, what did I say? Ideal gas equation is a combination of all these three laws. Right? So if I have to combine it and write into an expression, I take volume in one side which is directly proportional to all of these three laws. So you have to combine and write. How do I write? So N T by P. Correct? So N T by B. So volume is directly proportional to N T by B, where N is the number of moles of a gas, T is the temperature, P is the pressure. Very simple. Now what we have to do? We have to remove the proportionality symbol by adding up a constant. So we introduce a new constant, okay, that is denoted by R with N by P. Now what is this R? R is a gas constant or proportionality constant. In order to remove the proportional symbol, we have got an R which is called the gas constant, or it is usually known as the universal gas constant. Why? Because the value of this particular R is same for all the gases. Okay, it is said to be a constant, right? So we call them as universal gas constant. Okay, so this is the equation what we arrive at when we introduce a new constant called gas constant. Now you see that you can actually rearrange the equation once again. What do? I take this pressure to the other side and put PV together. So PV is equal to nRT. Okay. So this is the equation what you arrive at, and this equation is called the ideal gas equation, which is very, very important. Okay. Which is very, very important to be understood. Okay. This you have to practice. So PV is equal to nRT is the ideal gas equation. Got it? So this is how you arrive at the ideal gas equation, which is a combination of all which law? Especially the Boyle's law, Charles' law and the Avogadro law. So the combination of this law gives the ideal gas equation. Now you see that this equation can be also rearranged. Okay, I somehow rearranged like this: PV by NT. Right? So if I have to find the value of R. Now as I said, R is a gas constant, but do we know the value of it? No. Right? But how can you find out? You can actually rearrange and find out the values as these are constants. Right? You take it as a standard values of pressure, volume, number of moles as well as temperature. You can actually find out the value of R too. So the value of R is given by a calculation, which is not that important, but you have to know the value of R. Okay. So pressure is actually 10 to the power 5, which is a standard 10 to the power 5 Pascal. As I said, it is 22.7 liter per mole. Now in order to simplify, I will take another unit, okay, 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube, and then you have N. N is 1 mole of any gas. So 1 mole into temperature. Temperature is how much? Standard temperature is 273.15 Kelvin. Correct? So if you try calculating this, okay, you get a value that is 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole, and this is the value of R, and this value of R is said to be constant for all of the gases. It remains the same, and this value you have to remember, children, that is R is equal to 8.314 joule per Kelvin per mole. So this is the value of R, and the ideal gas equation is PV is equal to nRT. So next we have the combined gas law. As I said, the ideal gas equation is written as PV is equal to nRT. Okay. Now in this equation, from this equation, you can actually determine the state of gas. Okay. So this equation can be also called the equation state. Okay. Right. So this is one of the application of ideal gas equation. That is, you can find the state of the gas. Okay. Now we will study what is the combined gas law. or the combined gas equation. From the ideal gas equation, now suppose you imagine a gas wherein you are varying the temperature, pressure as well as volume. Okay, so it may vary from T1, V1 to, now you know that any of the reactions, it has to start from an initial stage and end it to final stage, right? So if a gas has to vary from the initial value, where initial values would be T1, V1 and V1, it is getting into a final stage wherein the temperature, pressure and volume will change to T2, P2 and V2. Okay, then you can actually rearrange this ideal gas equation according to the initial and the final parameters. So here this can be written as P1 V1 divided by T1 is equal to NR. So this is the first set, initial one. So P1 V1 divided by T1. When you rearrange, you get this T this side, right? So what will remain here? N and R. So T1 you have brought it this side. Now in the same way, according to the final stage, how can you write it? P2 V2 divided by T2, that is equal to NR. Right. Now what do you think is common over here? NR is common in the both of the sides. So you can actually equate these two. So you write it as P1 V1 divided by T1 is equal to P2 V2 divided by T2. This is your combined gas law or combined gas equation, wherein you write this initial values of pressure, temperature and volume getting into the final stage of pressure, volume and temperature. So this is your combined gas equation. Okay. So one thing to be remembered mainly here is your ideal gas equation. Okay. And what are the parameters over there, and your combined gas equation where this can be used in order to solve the problems. Okay, so based on this the problems will be asked. One of the example let us solve over here. That is at 25 degrees Celsius and 760 mm of mercury pressure. Okay, so what is given over here? Temperature you know, the pressure is given, mercury pressure is given of a gas occupies 600 ml volume. So the first initial stage is given. Now they are asking what will be its pressure at a height where temperature is 10 degrees Celsius and volume of the gas is 650 ml. Okay, so here you see that what is missing over here? They have given the temperature, they have given the volume, but what is missing? Pressure is missing. The final pressure we have to find out. What would be the pressure they have given? So initial values of temperature, pressure and volume is given, and final values of temperature as well and volume is given. What you have to find? You have to find the pressure. So what equation can be used in order to solve the problem? You can use a combined gas equation. So first let us write what is given from this problem, and then let us write the formula and substitute. So firstly you have T1, that is 25 degrees Celsius. So as you all know, whenever the temperature is given in Celsius scale, you have to convert into Kelvin, because the equations are based on the standard temperature, Kelvin temperature scale. So you have to convert into Kelvin scale. So if you have to convert, you have to add 273, right? So you get it as 298 Kelvin as T1. Then what is given? Pressure is given. How much? P1. P1 is 760 ml. Then volume is given, that is V1, which is 600 ml. Right? Now, so T1, P1, V1 you know. Next what is given here? T2, whether it is given? T2, temperature is given 10 degrees Celsius. So 10 degrees Celsius. So how much would you get here? 10 degree plus 273 would be how much? 283, correct? 283. Then you have P2. P2 whether it is given? No, they are asking what would be the pressure. So you have to find P2. So P2 we have to find out. Then volume of the gas is given, that is V2 is given. So how much is it? 640 ml. So you got the final values as well as the initial values. What you have to find? P2 you have to find. Use a combined gas equation and rearrange the equation. Okay. So combined gas equation is given as P1 V1 by T1 that is equal to P2 V2 by T2. All of these values you know, P1 T1 we know, V2 T2 you know, but what you have to find? P2. So rearrange this equation as P2 is equal to, now if you want P2, how can you rearrange this? So you write it as P1 V1 into T2, these both multiply, and then you have V2 into T1. Now simple, once you have got the equation, what you have to do? You have to substitute it, right? So try substituting the values. So you have P2 is equal to P1 V1 T2 divided by V2 into T1. So now substitute the values. P1 is how much? P1 is how much? It is given 760 nanometer. 760 mm. Okay, mm. Then you have V1. V1 is 600 ml into 600 ml. Then T2 is given. T2 is 283 Kelvin. 283 Kelvin divided by V2. V2 is 640 ml. 640 ml. And then T1. T1 is 298 Kelvin. So 298 Kelvin. So try solving this. Tell me what's the value? ml gets cancelled over here. Kelvin gets cancelled. First you multiply these and divide it by the same. So you get the answer as 676. You have to calculate, okay? 676.6. What would be the value? What would be the unit of pressure over here? This is mm, so here mm. So this would be the value or the pressure of the final gas. What will be its pressure at a height where the temperature is 10 degree and volume is 640 ml? This would be the pressure, final pressure. Now let us study a relationship between the density and molar mass of a gaseous substance. Okay, so you should know an expression. This is a very small expression to be remembered. Okay, so the density as well as a molar mass. Now molar mass is given by capital M, children, and just the mass is given by small letter m. You should remember that. Now the ideal gas equation can be written as PV is equal to nRT. Right? This is your ideal gas equation. So from this we can actually arrive at a expression where you can get the relationship between density and molar mass. Now, as you know, if I have to substitute this value, number of moles can be written as m by capital letter N, right? It's a mass of the gas and the molar mass, right? So N is equal to m by 1. Now let us substitute this one over here. So PV is equal to, what is m as we know? M by M. So here small letter m divided by capital letter M into RT. Right. So this is what you have here, divided by RT. Now, what relation do I want here? Density and molar mass. You know that density is nothing but mass by volume. Right. So we have to attain this expression. So easily when you see here, you have mass over here. You want mass by volume actually, but you know mass is there. But instead of volume, there is molar mass. But where is volume? Over here. Can you rearrange these two? Yes, you can actually take molar mass to the other side and get volume to this side. So what do we do? Pm, I have taken this side, okay, m is being taken to the other side, and volume I have brought it down. So m by V. And what will it be? RT. Correct? Now you got the value for density. Now you have the expression for density. So density is equal to mass by volume. So you write it as pressure into molar mass is equal to dRT. You have almost got the equation. Now what we actually want? Molar mass and density. Where is molar mass? Here. But there is also pressure over here. So what do we do? We get this pressure to this side so that you can actually get the expression. So molar mass is equal to density into the constant, gas constant into the divided by P. So this is the relationship between the molar mass as well as density. So here from this we conclude that always molar mass is directly proportional to the density. As you keep increasing the molar mass, density also will increase. If it decreases, density also will decrease. So this is the relation what you obtain between the molar mass and density.